This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball EXCEL Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the game of the week in the 78-81 Fall League, and we are in the National League North with the Cardinals and the Cubs, the bitter rivals, in an era where they would need some help as the division got tougher. The realigned division got tougher because they are roommates with the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates, who would do tremendous stuff in the 1970s, winning 4 World Series between them, being in, 6 of them, something like that. And so you got to put the Cubs and Cards in that same division. It makes it very difficult because we knew the Reds traditionally were in the National League West. So now you put all 4 together, it really makes it hard for the Cubs and Cards. They have to hope in a short sample they could find a way in. And the Cubs have played their hearts out this year and are making the case. Let's go straight to the standings right now in the National League. It's been a good year for the Cubs. 15-12, 78-81. They're riding Dave Kingman's big year in 79. Bill Buckner's great year in 80. Bruce Sutter still the closer. So they've got some talent. The Pirates are doing what they would have done in 79. They finally put it all together. And the Reds have stumbled inexplicably this year. And so that's the crack. That's the crack in the division that the Cubs have to surge through. And even the Cardinals are just a couple games under. They still have a remote chance of making the playoffs. They'd have to rip off 3 straight wins and hope that the Marlins beat the Phillies when they play them in that series. So it's harder for the Cardinals, obviously. But it's been great news for the Cubs. They can sense that they can get into this thing. Let's look at the other records. The West is over with, and the Astros, boy, they blew a great season of pitching and hitting and didn't win enough games. They would blow a team out, then lose 1-0. Blow a team out, lose 1-0. And then there you go. 15-15 is what that adds up to. They're done, as are the Giants and Pads. These other 2 expansion teams here. The Braves are a couple games over 500, but the Phillies can still catch them, either win the division or they could beat out the Cubs for a wild card. So the Cubs have to be feeling pretty good right now. This series is opening up in Chicago, a best of 5. And Game 1 has been played. Let's take a look what happened in Game 1. Cards-Cubs. The Cards signed Steve Trout in the offseason. And would he be the guy to play spoiler against one of the 2 Chicago teams he played for? Well, the answer is no. Mike Krukow pitches for the Cubs. Bottom of 1. A 2-out, 2-run triple by who else? Dave Kingman. Then in the second, the Cards get sloppy. Steve Trout boots back-to-back grounders hit back to the mound, and they get another run. It's 3-0. But in the fourth, with the bases loaded and 2 outs, it's Ted Simmons with a grand slam. And you're thinking, oh, here we go again, Cubs fans. It's all for naught. Cardinals get another run in the fourth. But in the bottom of the fourth inning, Heidi Cruz having his best year, 1981, with a 2-run blast. And Cruz comes through again in the 6th with a 2-run blast. It's an 8-5 game. In the 8th inning, after Krukow exits, the setup guy Kinney gets a couple outs, puts a couple guys on. And who comes to the rescue? Bruce Sutter. Of course. A strikeout to end the 8th inning, and then 3 Ks in a row in the 9th. Sutter actually has something to close for, finally. He's got a team that he can ride into the playoffs if they ask him to finish games. The quick starting Cubs with more opportunities to close out. 8-5, Cubs win Game 1. And they're on a high right now. This is the high mark of the season for them. They need 2 more wins, and they are almost a lock for the wild card. It'd be remarkable they don't get in. So, game 2, and now we got the aces for each squad. It'll be Bob Forsch for the Cardinals. My goodness. In a strike year of 81. 10-5 with a 3.19 ERA. Well, in a strike year, that prorates to a 20-win season, which he once had in, I think, 78 or 77. And then Rick Russell, 78 Cubs, 14-15, 341, and 243 innings. Bob Forsch, Rick Russell from Wrigley Field. Cubs want to go up 2-0 in this series. Let's get started. Leading off for the Cardinals, Lou Brock. 5'12", skies are right. Tommy Herr, 64, pops to first. And Keith Hernandez, 65, pops to short. Bottom of 1, it's Enos Cabell. Nice little pickup. Speedy third baseman with defense from the Astros. 38. Single 118's a base hit for the Ace Steeler. Batting second, Jerry Morales. 2 4s, a 6-4, 3 double play. Well, got to be more aggressive trying to steal a base, Cubs. But I could see the point. You kind of want to set the table for Buckner and Kingman. So, and here is Bill Buckner. 55 is a roller to second. So nothing comes from that first inning. Bernie Carbo leads off in the second. 2-4 is a K. Ted Simmons. 2-6. Let's take a look at this kooky Ted Simmons card of 1980. It's not really kooky, folks, because he had a masterful year. Hitting .303. 21 homers for a switch-hitting catcher. But, of course, in 1980, they messed with all the templates. This is normally the 13th best hitter on the team. Yet, he hits .303. They switched the order around, and it's almost... The Cardinals had a bunch of guys who hit .303, .302, .301, .300, and it's almost hard to figure out who led the team in hitting if you're just looking at this side of the card. Anyway, Ted Simmons, 2-6, homer, 1-7. He rolls the 1. It is gone. And just like game 1, Simmons' homer gives the Cards a lead. Templeton, K's. And Ken Oberkfell, 49, double 1 is base hit. Cesar Geronimo, 57, pops to third, a guy the Reds didn't want. The Cardinals said, we'll take you. We'll take you in your 223 average, 226 batting average. We don't care if your Reds didn't want your hitting anymore. We like the arm and defense. 1-0 Cards, bottom of 2. And here he is, Dave Kingman. 2-4, skies the center. Heidi Cruz, 3-5. Let's take a look at the Heidi Cruz card. In game 1 against the lefty, he rolled a 3-5. And then he rolled a 3-5 for 2 home runs. And today, he has rolled a 3-5. And that, you guessed it, is another home run for Heidi Cruz. 7 of them in 100 at-bats in 81. That's prorates to like 40 homers in a full season. And you see him right there. My goodness, what a great little performance this is. Great defensive corner outfielder as well. We got a tie game. Bobby Mercer, 67. It's a base hit off the Force card. Mercer can still run. He's a beast stealer here. Surprising for later in the decade. He will hold it first for Rafael Ramirez. 1-6. Triple, 1-2, single, dot. You got runners in the corners with 1 out. They're going to bring it up for Mike Sadik. 6-10, third X, the infield up. This is Oberkfell, 3E18 at third base. He makes the play. Runners have to hold with the infield up. And it's Dave McKay. 54 of it forces a pop out. So, Bob Forsch settles down after the homer. It is 1-1 as we go to the third. Elliot Maddox. 4-9, double 1-2 is a base hit. Lou Brock. 1-5. Let's take a look at the Lou Brock card. It seemed like the guy was running out of gas in his career. He's probably 40, 41 years old in 1979. So what does he do? He hits .304, his best batting average in half a decade. In 1979, his last year in the league. And he does it all against right-handed pitching, as you can see. .304, and he did it in 428 plate appearances. Still an ace stealer as well. 1-5 is homer 1-5, fly ball the rest. And he would roll a 14 and fly ball the rest there. Tough break for Lou. One out now. Tommy Herr. 56 flies into center field. And with 2 outs, it's Keith Hernandez. 59, he skies to center. Bottom of the 3rd, Enos Cabell. 67, double 1, fly ball, fly ball. Jerry Morales, 36 is a base hit. Bill Buckner, 38 is a 4. 2-6, 2-3, double play. The aces of each squad. Put guys on, figure out how to get out of the inning. We go to the 4th. Bernie Carbo, 67, is single 1-3, line out, line out. Ted Simmons, 6'10", catcher's card. Mike Sadek, he's a 3E4. And he makes the play. And with 2 outs, it's Gary Templeton, 58, pops to second base, 6 in a row, retired by Russell. Bottom of 4, King Kong Kingman, 37 for Kingman as a walk. Heidi Cruz, fans get on their feet, he's so red hot now. 3-6, what's going on in the world of Heidi Cruz? He's eating the rice and beans or something, folks. He has hit his 4th homer in his last 6 at-bats. And this is a 2-run blast in the 4th inning. And he's trying to get the Cubs single-handedly into the playoffs. Heidi Cruz, your Cubs star. 3-1. Bobby Mercer, 56, flies to right. Rafael Ramirez, 311, flies to right. And Mike Sadek, 48, pops to 3rd. We go to the 5th. It's Ken Oberkfell. 1-8, homer, 1-3, double. That's a 2-base hit. Cesar Geronimo, 2 7s a K. Elliot Maddox, 1-4, rolls to short. And with 2 outs, it's Lou Brock, saw his card earlier. 48 is a base hit into center field. Oberkfell trying to score, cut this lead to 1. He's a 14 runner. 15-16. Morales' arm in center field is -1. He's going to run on a 15, and he scores right there. So, 2-out single by Brock. Now, do you try a steal to get in scoring position? Against the Sadek arm, you have to. Lou Brock taking off for second base. He's in there, and we may have a T rating on Sadek. T1-4. So Mr. Brock steals second base, ball goes into center, he goes, pops up and goes to 3rd. Tying run at 3rd with 2 outs. It's been all Lou Brock this inning. And here's Tommy Herr. 66 off Russell is a grounder to short. This is Rafael Ramirez, acquired from the Atlanta Braves. A 3E44 at shortstop. He gets the ground ball C, and the inning's over. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, bottom of the 5th. Dave McKay will lead off for the Cubs. 1-4 rolls to the pitcher. Enos Cabell, 6'10", 3rd X, 3E18, saw his defense earlier. But it's a base hit this time. Now you got the ace stealer. He's going to take off, and he was safe on a 6. Jerry Morales, runner in scoring position, 1 out. 1-8, Jerry Morales. Let's take a look at this card from 81. He and Cruz, in the year of the strike, had nice years. 286 batting average, always known for his glove. Jerry Morales. But 1-8 here is triple 1-2, single dot. That scores the run, and it's 4-2 Cubs. Bill Buckner. 1-3. Another ground ball double play for Bill. Not a good day for Bill Buckner, but still a good day for the Cubs. Inning-ending double play. And there you go. 4-2 into the 6th. Both pitchers are starter 7s. It'll be Keith Hernandez. 5'10", flies left. Quiet day for Keith. Bernie Carbo, 48, is a base hit. And now your tie run is Ted Simmons. He's been a terror for the... He's been almost matching Mr. Cruz on the Cubs. 48, another base hit in the center field. Carbo, only an 11 runner, will hold at second. And now, Russell's in a little trouble here in the 6th. It's Gary Templeton. They gave him power, so we moved him down to the 6th spot in the lineup. One of the rare times they gave the guy power. So 1-6 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Ken Oberkfell. 34 pops to first. The Cardinals, they are making mistakes here today. They put a lot of men on. Only brought a couple in. Bottom of the 6th. It'll be Dave Kingman leading off for the Cubs. 47 is a liner to first. Heidi Cruz, 110 and ground ball to short this time. And Bobby Mercer, 35 is a base hit. Beast Stealer. Do you try and steal 2 outs? So you know what? There's 2 outs. I'll let you do it with 2 outs. 12. This is close. 13, 11, 0 arm. You're out. By a whisker. Couldn't get in there. Being held on, and he doesn't make it. All right, he's out stealing, and the 6th inning is over. We go to the 7th, a 4-2 game. It's Geronimo leading off for the Cardinals here. 63 rolls to first. Elliot Maddox, 2-2, rolls to third, and with 2 outs, Russell has the sinker going. He's got a lot of ground ball outs today. It'll be Lou Brock. 49, base hit, double one, single dot dot, is a single. He's thinking about taking off, but with down by 2 runs, he wants to leave that hole open between first and second for Tommy Herr. So Herr will hit away. 2-6 is a liner to short. Rick Russell scattered a bunch of singles. There's 1 lone double and 1 lone homer. It was his only damage done to him in a 4-2 game. Stretch time at Wrigley Field in Chicago. We are listening to Syl Johnson's 1969 LP, Is It Because I'm Black? Wonderful record by the legend Syl Johnson. Fantastic stuff here. Let's go back to the game. Bottom of the 7th. Ken Forsch is a starter 7, and he's the best they have, so he will continue. It'll be Rafael Ramirez leading off for the Cubs. 1-7 is double 1-3, single not that. He's on with a single. Now you have Mike Sadik. 4-11, right X. Who's in right field? Oh boy, this is Carbo. This is not a good look at all. Bernie Carbo in right field late in his career. He's a 4-16 in right field. And that'll be a base hit, dot, dot. And here come the Cubs again with runners on the corners and nobody out. They're about to break Bob Forsch. Dave McKay's an A-bunter. They got to bring the infield up here. And here's the pitch to Dave McKay. 48 off Forsch is a pop to first. 1 out. Now you got Cabell here. With 1 out, they're still going to keep the infield up. The pitch to Enos Cabell. 2-7. Let's take a look at this guy. Enos Cabell. 78 Astro. 295. Plays the corners. Steals some bases. Perfect Astrodome player. The Cubs needed third base help. Matter of fact, Dave McKay played 3rd last year. Then they moved him to 2nd this year. So Cabell was available, and so they smuggled him away from the Astros. This is a nice card here. 295, 7 homers, and 682 plate appearances. That's a lot of plate appearances for playing all these multiple positions, you know. You figure you'd settle into 1 to just stay there all year, but the Astros had different plans for him. 2-7 is a single to right field, and that makes it a 5-2 game, and it also breaks Bob Forsch. And the Cubs are in fantastic shape. With a 5-2 lead, 1 out in the 7th with a couple men on base, and the Cards have to dip into their pen. And with the Cardinals season suddenly on the brink here, I don't think if they lose this game, I don't think they can qualify for the playoffs. They're going to go straight to their lefties closer, Steve Mingori, to stop the bleeding here. Mingori was a Royal in 78, 1-4, 2.74 ERA in 69 innings, but he is the Cardinal closer. Really disappointing day for Bob Forsch. Put guys on in most every inning. No 3 up and 3 down innings at all against this dangerous Cub team. Mingori comes on at the 7th. And with Cabell's single, Sadik held at 2nd. So you have 1st and 2nd with 1 out. And it'll be Jerry Morales. They're going to play back. They need a double play here. And the pitch to Jerry Morales. 2-7 is a short B, fielder's choice. So you got runners on the corners with 2 outs, and it's Bill Buckner. 1-6, let's take a look at your 1980 National League batting champion. And if you look across in the dugout, Keith Hernandez lost out by a point on the batting title. Could have had it back-to-back years. But anyway, Buckner. He would hit .324 in 608 plate appearances, 41 doubles and 10 homers, and yes, 18 strikeouts, folks. 18 strikeouts for these guys back then. I always bring this up when I talk about Brett and guys like Tim Foley, Rich Dower, Bill Buckner. There was an era when you didn't strike out in baseball. 1-6 is a double to right field. 1 run scores. Morales, a 12-runner. 13-14. He will not take on Carbo because he will let Kingman swing away. So, it is a 6-2 game, second and third, and they're going to let Dave Kingman swing away against Steve Mingori. Here's the pitch to Kingman. 3-6, let's take a look at the King Kong Kingman card of 1979. .288 batting average, a highlight of his career, with a 48 home runs, a highlight of his career, MVP votes, and all that wonderful stuff. For Dave Kingman, after getting out of San Francisco and New York, he gets to Shea Stadium, he gets to Wrigley Field, and he finally puts it all together. In 1979, 3-6 is a base hit to center. 1 run scores. Buckner will not take on Geronimo, and it is now 7-2. It is all Cubs all day. And Heidi Cruz, 54, pops to second base. 7-2 game Cubs into the 8th. It'll be Keith Hernandez. 3-10 flies to right, an offer for Keith. Tough break there. Bernie Carbo, 47 bouncer to second. McKay's a 3 at second base. He makes the play in with 2 outs. Ted Simmons, 2 for 3 with a homer today. 66 off Russell's a bouncer to short. Ramirez a 3-44. He makes the play defensively. 7-2 game, bottom of the 8th. Bobby Mercer. 5-11 is a K. Rafael Ramirez, 32, pops to third, and batting for Mike Sadek, the better defensive catcher, Buck Martinez will bat. 67, Buck Martinez gets a single. Now you have Dave McKay. 6-11 bounces to first. This is Hernandez, old 189 at first base, and he makes the play. We'll go to the 9th, and Mr. Suter can just smile in the dugout, in the bullpen, and relax. His team will most likely get the win. And Russell will try for the CG, as he might be the next best pitcher on this team after Suter. So it'll be Templeton, Obergefell, 3 straight lefties. Gary Templeton leads off the 9th. 39 flies to right. Ken Obergefell, 56, flies to center, and with 2 outs, it'll be Cesar Geronimo. 1-3 is a K. In today's story, Heidi Cruz, of course, but Rick Russell with a complete game, and the Cubs are a win away, dare we say, from clinching a playoff spot. I don't know if they can actually clinch it, but they would pretty much need a miracle to not make the playoffs at this point. The Cubs win. The Cubs win. The Cubs. Yep, they win. Rick Russell. Complete game. 8 hits, 2 runs. 1 of those was unearned. No walks, 5 strikeouts. Complete game. Inning in 2/3 for Mingori. He gives up 3 hits, a run, and a K. Well, not a good day for him. And not a good day for Force today either. 12 hits and 6 1/3 innings. Just too much Cubs, frankly. 6 hits, 12 hits, 6 runs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all earned. Only a walk. Only 1 walk of this entire game. Free swinging on the north side. 1-0-9, 0108, 715-28, 715-28, 05, 1-1. Oh, it's going to look rosy now for the Cubs as we plug in the composite box. Up 2-0. 1 more win. Game 3 will be in Busch Memorial, and 4 if necessary, and then if we go back to Wrigley if the Cardinals win 2 straight for a Game 5. the Cubs and the Cardinals trying to break through, and one of them will, break through the gauntlet of Reds-Pirates as the Reds headed down here. So let's start with your Cubs. 16-12 in the driver's seat, in command now. The density is in their hands. They're hitting .269 with a 4.52 ERA. But Rick Russell is 6-2. Beyond him, the number 2 starter is Jeff Zahn, who's 0-5 with an ERA around 9. That might have to be fixed before their potential postseason run, because Crew Cal and Paul Russell also have winning records. And if you're wondering about Bruce Sutter, he has 10 saves of the 16 wins. 1 earned run in 15 1/3 innings. So we'll call that ERA like .63 or something silly like that. The offense, it is Kingman with 11 homers and 37 RBI in 28 games. Heidi Cruz following right behind with 8 homers and 20 RBIs. How's Bill Buckner doing with the batting average? He's 33 for 117. Well, a little below 282. A little bit below the batting champion we expected him to be, but that's okay. Kingman's also 38 for 104, which is remarkable. And the Cardinals, they had a chance, and I think they just kind of stubbed their toe and blew their opportunity for making the playoffs. Yeah, they have to win all 3 games and play spoiler and knock the Cubs out possibly, but at 16-16, I don't think they make the playoffs. They're 13-16. Hitting .264, which would be okay for enough clubs, but the Cardinals are loaded with 300 hitters, so that's very disappointing. 4.48 ERA is bad. Bob Forsch is 2-6, which is bad. There's just not a lot. Sylvia Martinez is 5-1 as your 4 starter. That's interesting. The power numbers, it is Ted Simmons all by himself. 9 homers and 36 RBI in 29 games for Ted Simmons. Doing it all by himself. Hitting .320 for this squad. And beyond him, not a lot to talk about for the Cardinals, unfortunately. Lou Brock does have 7 stolen bases in what will be his final season. So when we look at the current standings, here are your Cubs, 16-12. Worst they can do is finish 16-15. Would that be good enough to even be a wild card? Well, if they were to say lose all 3 games and they were 16-15, they'd have to hope that the Marlins beat the Phillies 3-2, and neither team would have a winning record, and the Cubs could still be a wild card. But basically, the Cubs just need to get one more win, and then only one of these 2 teams, Braves, Phillies, or even Marlins, would make the playoffs. The Cubs can get up to that 17th win. Atlanta's season is over at 16. If the Cubs get that 17th win, though, Phillies and Marlins, I can't really catch them for a wild card spot. Have to be the only path for these 2 teams would be the division. That's it today from Chicago. Well, it's not that it today. I gotta give you the results. I'm gonna play the remaining part of the series. At the end of the video, we'll give you the results of Game 3 and 4 and 5 if necessary. Thanks for checking this out, and we'll see you next time. Well, baseball fans, here's the box score of the game we just saw. Russell and the Cubs beating the Cardinals, getting up 2-0 in the series. Can the Cubs finish the deal in 3 straight by going into St. Louis and winning a Game 3? I mean, the Cubs of all teams during this era? Let's find out. Game number 3 in St. Louis. Paul Russell, brother of Rick Russell, number 4 starter, against John Fulgham, a very nice, promising right-hander in the Cardinal system. Had a couple of nice years, and he disappeared. This one, it starts out great for the Cardinals. Singles and a Brock stolen base. Even after a double play, they get a single walk and a 2-run triple by Gary Templeton, who had like 1,000,000 triples. 3-0 lead, and the Cardinals are like, hey, we're gonna start evening this thing up. But in the 5th, after a couple walks, we got a Mike Sadik RBI single, a Dave McKay RBI single, then Fulgham settles down. It's 3-2. But then in the 6th inning, our boy Heidi Cruz with his 5th home run in 3 games. The game's tied at 3. Paul Russell, starter 6, is able to survive 6 rocky innings. And in the 7th, Fulgham, a leadoff double to Ramirez with 2 outs. Enos Cabell from the leadoff spot, an RBI single. It is 4-3. Cardinals have a chance in the 7th. They get 2 on with 2 outs, and the Cubs go to Kenny Holtzman out of their bullpen. He grew up with the Cubs, and then he went to Oakland. Now he's back. Got the final out in the 7th. A righty setup guy, Joe McLaughlin, a walk and a K in the 8th. Then in the 9th inning, they say, Bruce Sutter, send us to the playoffs. You got something to close for now, not just save stats. You can actually be a postseason pitcher. In the 9th, a strikeout, a ground out. Keith Hernandez walks to keep the Cardinals' season alive, and then Bruce Sutter strikes out Ted Simmons to end the game. Cubs win again. Cubs win. Cubs sweep. Cubs are in the playoffs, folks. My goodness. Let's take a look at the overall standings now. This started at 14-12. They're now 17-12, and unfortunately the Cardinals fall into the bottom of the division and out of it. The Cubs and these wild card teams are very tough. 17-12, 586 ball. That Las Vegas runner-up over here, 18-11. Making it hard to get more than 2 teams out of the East and West. That sent the Astros and the Giants and the Padres packing. The Dodgers winning that division. And it's going to come down to here. The Phillies have to play the Marlins. The Phillies have to thread the needle a little bit here, gang. Winning the series 3-2 will not cut it. They do have a tiebreaker against the Braves head-to-head. They need to beat the Marlins 3-1 or sweep the Marlins to win the East. Otherwise, it's the Braves. So, that'll be the last series to be played in the National League for the final playoff team. The Cubs will go on the road as the lowest seed, and the Vegas the second lowest of the wild card seeds. Both those teams will be on the road in the wild card round. Congratulations, Chicago Cubs win. Cubs win 3-0 sweep over the Cards. We'll see you next time.